talk about how to understand crazy people. Okay? So we have to do this all the time in our society, especially. We have to deal with, I'm so frustrated dealing with people that think that it's okay, justify killing someone over a difference of opinion. That to me is crazy thinking. And we have an epidemic of that apparently now, thinking it's okay to kill someone and their family because they have a different opinion than you. That is psychotic. So, anyway, that's my judgment anyway, is that that's psychotic. Now let's talk about judgment, because we've been talking about in the series the 4 levels of consciousness. And we talked about surface consciousness, which is your words, attitudes, and actions. So we hear this chatter out of people that is crazy talk, and we go, what are you out of your mind? I think you need to go to the hospital or something because you are totally crazy. And that's coming from the subconscious, which is the thoughts, wants, and feelings. So somehow, somewhere inside of them, they have thoughts, wants, and feelings that justify their words, attitudes, and actions. But that's because, and you're thinking, how can you think that way? Why do you feel that way? That is where did you go off the road of humanity and start thinking crazy thoughts like it's okay to kill people that you disagree with? And that's where you get into the unconscious realm of beliefs. Now, beliefs will overrule thoughts, wants, and feelings. So if you have a belief system, and you can see this in religious ideology, in political ideology, all kinds of different ideology, where it talks about, or where you have a belief system. Now, belief systems cast judgment on thoughts, wants, and feelings. So I think that most people come into the world when they're young, and they're raised by their parents usually, and they kind of have an okay filter, which is your spirit. Your spirit is your pneuma in Greek. Pneuma is wind or breath. In other words, it's a direction, it's a flow. And the scriptures talk about how we have a spirit and God has a spirit. In 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 11 and 12, it says that your spirit searches your thoughts, and it knows your thoughts, wants, and feelings. So your spirit is something that understands you better than anyone else. And it says God's spirit understands him, and God's spirit understands us. And when God gives us his spirit, we can understand the heart of God. But it also says there's 2 spirits flowing around that we can tap into: the spirit of the world or the spirit of God. Those are the 2 underlying spirits under this, the whole thing. And everyone is either operating out of the spirit of the world or the spirit of God. And that is the judgments. The spirit is the beliefs underneath that judge our thoughts, wants, and feelings. And so if you have someone that has subscribed to a belief that anyone that disagrees with them is evil, and it's justified to kill them because they're the enemy and they're a threat to my existence, then you have a psycho, unconscious spirit that is justifying death. And you know what? The person that hurts most is the person who has that spirit. Yes, it hurts everyone around them, because we aren't meant to have those. Those are just death spirits. Those are the spirits of the world that just divide and destroy, that create ego, that create division, that create me against them. And so we have this just disease of worldly spirit that creates bubbles of belonging instead of belonging to the whole of humanity. Belonging to the whole of humanity is I call it Christ consciousness, or Christ awareness, or awareness that we are all one, because we're all born in the same image and likeness. We all come from the same place. We're all in the same family. We're all from the same God. We're all created in the same image and likeness. That's what the first couple chapters of Genesis teach us. So, how to understand crazy people? Their spirit has been diluted with some ideas, some belief systems that have overtaken their thoughts, wants, and feelings. So how do you fix that? They have to fix it. You can't fix it. They have to decide at some point. They have to wake up and realize my life is so miserable. Maybe I have the wrong belief system. And these all flow both ways. So they can start going, I have a different thought. I have a want. I have a feeling. I feel, or I want, or I think maybe my belief system is messed up because I just have destruction and death everywhere I go in my life. And so maybe I believe something wrong. Maybe I need a different operating system. Maybe I believe something that's destructive. Second thing is, I don't want to be hateful anymore. I want what I see the other side having, which is peace. Ooh. And so I want that. So I'm motivated to search outside of my belief system for a different belief system. Or maybe I have a feeling. I'm so sick of feeling hateful and awful and just at war with everyone around me or the world. I'm just so sick of feeling so awful and isolated. So I'm going to search for a different belief system and try and find the belief system that makes me feel better. So these go both ways. And so when you have that unconscious spirit that's just making you more and more divided and more hateful, you're going to think bad. You're going to think destructive thoughts. You're going to want destructive things, and you're going to feel destructive things. So be healed. Be healed. Repent, change your thinking, and believe the gospel that we are all connected, that we're all important, and stop believing the craziness. Now, if you're reacting to this whole situation by hating the other side more, you just joined in the same spirit that they have. And what's going to result is the same thing, the same result that they have at this level and this level. You're going to get more and more isolated, and you're going to get more and more recluse and more selective over who you can be with and who you can agree with. And then your words, attitudes, and actions are going to alienate you even more, and you're going to feel more and more angry because what the opposite of what you're meant to feel and believe is connected to people. That's what makes you feel good. That's what makes you think healthy. And that's what makes you want healthy things. This is the foundation for relationships, for marriage, for family, and for society.